Ladies and gentlemen, this is your captain speaking.
Imagine a routine flight turning into a nightmare in mere seconds. On January 2nd, what started as a typical landing at Tokyo's bustling Haneda Airport quickly escalated into one of the most harrowing disasters in aviation history. How did two aircraft, one carrying passengers back home and the other on a mission of mercy, end up in a catastrophic collision on one of the world's busiest runways? What ensued in the moments and days following this tragic event? And more importantly, what lessons can we draw from this to prevent future calamities? This isn't just a story of a collision. It's a story of resilience, response, and the relentless pursuit of safety in the skies. Stay with us as we piece together this complex puzzle. January 2nd, 2024, started like any other day at Tokyo's Haneda Airport, one of the busiest in the world. But it turned into a day marked by an unprecedented aviation disaster. Let's take a step back and look at what happened on this fateful day. On this chilly January morning, a Japan Airlines Airbus A350, flight JAL 516, arriving from Sapporo, collided with a Japan Coast Guard de Havilland -8 on the runway at Haneda Airport. The incident, shocking in its suddenness and severity, led to both aircraft catching fire, creating a scene of chaos and urgency. In this collision, the stakes were high. On board the Airbus A350 were 379 passengers and crew, all of whom miraculously evacuated safely. However, the situation was grimmer for the Coast Guard aircraft. Of its 6 crew members, only the captain survived, while 5 tragically lost their lives. Flight JAL 516 was a routine passenger flight, its path from Sapporo to Tokyo, a well-traveled route. In contrast, the Coast Guard's -8 was on a critical mission, part of the response to the recent Noto earthquake, a task that added an extra layer of tragedy to the incident. As we delve deeper into this tragedy, let's first understand the 2 key players in this incident, the aircraft themselves. On one side, we had the Japan Airlines Airbus A350, known as Flight JAL 516. This was a modern marvel of aviation, barely 2 years old. It first took to the skies in September 2021. Sleek, sophisticated, and designed with the latest technology, this aircraft represented the pinnacle of passenger comfort and safety. Contrasting this, the Japan Coast Guard's de Havilland Canada -8, called J722A, was a workhorse with a history. At 16 years old, this aircraft had seen its share of challenges, including surviving damage from the 2011 Tohoku earthquake and tsunami. It was a testament to durability and service, often used for critical missions, like the one it was on during the day of the collision. Now let's set the stage for January 2nd, 2024. The Airbus A350, flight JAL 516, was concluding its journey from Sapporo to Tokyo. It approached Haneda Airport under favorable weather conditions, light winds, clear skies, and excellent visibility. Everything indicated a routine landing. Simultaneously on the ground, the Coast Guard's -8 was poised on the runway. The aircraft was preparing for an urgent mission in response to the Noto earthquake. The captain, the only survivor, later recounted a sudden, inexplicable fire at the back of the aircraft just before the collision. The final moments before the collision were a confluence of routine and the unexpected. The Japan Airlines Airbus, descending smoothly towards the runway, was unaware of the stationary Coast Guard plane lying in its path. And the Coast Guard plane, engulfed in a sudden fire, became an unintended obstacle on the runway. In these crucial moments, 2 worlds collided, one in the sky making its descent, and the other on the ground, engulfed in flames. What happened next was not just a collision of metal, but a tragic intertwining of fate and circumstance. As we continue, we'll witness how this collision unfolded and the immediate response that followed. Now let's turn to the heart of this story, the collision itself. This wasn't just an accident, it was a series of events that aligned with fatal precision. Picture this: the Japan Airlines Airbus was making its final approach, descending smoothly towards Haneda's runway. The pilots, seasoned professionals, were prepared for a routine landing. Meanwhile, unbeknownst to them, the Coast Guards was already on the runway, stationary, and about to become an unforeseen hazard. At approximately 17:47 local time, tragedy struck. The Airbus, with no time to react, collided with the Dash 8. It was a moment of horror that turned a routine landing into a fight for survival. A fireball erupted, engulfing both aircraft in flames and sending shockwaves of panic across the airport. In the moments following the collision, confusion and fear were rampant. Inside the Airbus, passengers experienced a sudden, terrifying jolt, followed by chaos. Outside, emergency services sprang into action, racing against time to control the fire and rescue the occupants. This catastrophe was not just about damaged aircraft, it was a profound human tragedy. For the survivors, the memories of those harrowing moments would linger long after the flames were extinguished. The seconds and minutes following the collision were a testament to the urgency and bravery in the face of chaos. Let's explore the immediate aftermath of this unprecedented event and the evacuation efforts that ensued. As flames engulfed the aircraft, inside the cabin of Flight JAL 516, there was a sudden descent into darkness and confusion. Passengers, moments ago preparing for a routine disembarkation, now found themselves in a fight for survival, surrounded by sounds of panic and the acrid smell of smoke. Despite the shock and rapidly escalating danger, the evacuation of JAL 516 was remarkably swift and efficient. The cabin crew, demonstrating exemplary composure and training, directed passengers to the emergency exits. Within minutes, 367 passengers and 12 crew members slid down the evacuation slides, fleeing the burning aircraft. On the ground, the response was immediate and coordinated. Firefighters and emergency personnel, aware of the gravity of the situation, rushed to the scene. Their prompt action in battling the flames and ensuring the safety of all those involved was a crucial factor in averting a greater tragedy. In these critical moments, the strength and resilience of the human spirit shone through. Passengers, despite their fear and shock, helped each other, united by a common desire to survive. This unity in the face of adversity highlights the indomitable will of people when confronted with life-threatening situations. The aftermath of the collision had immediate and far-reaching consequences, not just for those directly involved, but for the entire operation of Haneda Airport, a key hub in global air travel. In the wake of the collision, all runways at Haneda were temporarily closed. The ripple effect was immediate. Flights were diverted, delayed, or canceled, affecting thousands of passengers. The normally bustling airport was thrown into a state of uncertainty and disruption. The Japanese government and Aviation authorities acted swiftly. An information liaison office was set up, and the Japan Transport Safety Board announced a formal investigation into the collision. Internationally, the incident drew widespread attention and concern. Leaders and aviation bodies from around the world expressed their condolences and stressed the importance of rigorous safety standards in aviation. The event also sparked a community response, with locals and the international community offering support to those affected. This incident was a stark reminder of the importance of the stringent safety protocols in the complex ecosystem of a major airport. It served as a catalyst for reviewing and enhancing safety measures not only at Haneda, but across the global aviation industry. While the immediate aftermath of the collision was focused on rescue and response, attention quickly turned to unraveling the mystery. How and why did this tragic collision occur at Haneda Airport? The Japan Transport Safety Board, known for its meticulous investigation protocols, took the lead in this inquiry. They were not alone in their quest for answers. Experts from around the world joined, including teams from France, the UK, Canada, and the USA, each bringing their specialized knowledge to the table. The investigation centered on several key areas. First, The communication between air traffic control and the two aircraft. Was there a fatal misunderstanding or miscommunication? Secondly, the positioning and movement of the Coast Guard aircraft on the runway. And finally, the technical aspects. Were there any mechanical failures or system errors that contributed to the disaster? Preliminary findings pointed to a complex web of factors. There was a suggestion of possible confusion in air traffic control communications. The Dash 8's movements onto the runway were also under scrutiny. Investigators faced the challenge of piecing together a puzzle where every small detail could provide a crucial piece of understanding. As the investigation continues, the aviation world watches closely. The lessons learned from this tragedy will be crucial in preventing future incidents. We've witnessed the lasting impact of the Haneda Airport collision on aviation history. This event underscores the importance of effective communication, continual safety improvements, and skilled emergency response in aviation. It's a poignant reminder of our collective vulnerability and the crucial role of diligence in air travel.